You're nobody.
Don't tell anyone. Water's wet, the sky's blue, women have secrets. Gives a
Joe Hallenbeck, played by Bruce Willis, is a private detective who used to be a senator security. Jimmy Dix, played by Damon Wayans, is an ex-American football player who was fired from the big sport. They get dragged into a dirty world of sports corruption and have to find a way out of it if they don't kill each other first. Everything about these two is hilarious. Behavior, style, language, skills. The Last Boy Scout was made at the times when great action combined with witty sarcastic jokes was valued more than the movie rates and the amount of money made of it. This film is 30 years old and still remains one of the favorites among movie lovers, and the proof of it is your votes. The Last Boy Scout is the winner, and I am tremendously grateful for your choice. It has a chip on its shoulder, but it wasn't very popular at the beginning. It got its appreciation later, but in doing so, it has aged like a fine wine. The Last Boy Scout is more than just a blockbuster film. It dives into very sensitive topics such as sexual abuse, power abuse, drug abuse, and corruption. The jokes in the film are really sarcastic. They might be too harsh for sensitive people, and on top of that, there is plenty of swearing. That's why it's significantly different from today's movies, and you'll see this difference from the first few minutes of the film.
Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. You're gonna lose.
Please write in the comments your reactions, your thoughts about the film in general, and of course about the lesson. Speaking about the lesson, we are going to learn plenty of slang words and expressions and useful vocabulary that are very popular in the US. If you prefer American English to British English, you'll discover lots of interesting stuff to expand, to enlarge your vocabulary today. So don't forget about the subscription and the like for the video. Let's begin and watch the movie together. The film starts with an American football game. The member of a losing team is getting blackmailed.
There's a lot of money riding on this game tonight. Just do whatever it takes, understood? Or else you're history.
Do whatever it takes to make them win, or else you are history. Whatever it takes is an idiom. It means whatever is possible, whatever it costs to achieve something. Or else is also an idiom used in the meaning if not, then. You can use the word otherwise as well in the same meaning. Let's practice your speaking, saying the same thing in different ways to enlarge your vocabulary and avoid repetition. How would you rephrase the following? You have to finish it on time at all costs. If not, then you're fired. Finish it at whatever it takes, or else you're fired. Do whatever it takes to finish it on time, otherwise you're done. If your variant is a bit different, as long as it carries the same meaning with the same words, it's great, it's amazing. So let's continue practicing to make you more confident and more fluid. The football player couldn't handle the pressure. He pops some pills, shoots the guys on his way, and then shoots himself. Harsh, isn't it? The film begins with a contradiction question. Does sport remain fair and transparent, or it has turned into a manipulation and blackmail? The next morning we see Joe, who is sleeping in his car. After getting into his office, he gets a call from his friend, who offers Joe a job.
You still taking charity?
What do you got?
Exotic dancer. She's got some weirdo hassling her, wants surveillance, and I'm booked solid.
The girl who works at the strip club needs protection because some weirdo hustles her. It means troubles her, harasses her, annoys, making problems. Michael is booked solid. This expression means to be fully booked, fully occupied. Fully booked is more often used than booked solid.
It's $500, Joe.
I gotta run some errands. Meet you at your office in an hour.
Terrific.
You can use the expression run errands anytime you have to go and do some chores, like go shopping, get to the bank, drop the kids to school, etc. Use this expression answering my question. Are you going home after work? No, I'm not. I have to run some errands. By this answer, I understand you have to do something after work, but you don't specify what it is. Coming home, John notices the steam in the shower and the toilet seat up. What do you think it means?
Who's the guy in the closet?
Excuse me?
Sometimes you forget I'm a detective.
Call your shrink, Joe!
Shrink is another term used to refer to mental health professionals, including therapists, psychologists, and psychiatrists. So, call your shrink is call your doctor. His wife is trying to cover the trace, but his best friend gives up. It's Michael who called Joe about the job earlier.
How was she? How was my wife?
The moment Mike starts the car, he gets killed.
You told the cops.
I told him Mike came by to farm out a surveillance job this morning.
To farm out something or farm something out is a phrase that means to give work to other people to do. So how would you use it in the following example? Magazines often assign articles to freelance journalists to write. Magazines often farm out articles to freelance journalists.
So she just hired you, huh?
Actually, she hired my buddy Mike. I'm just filling in.
And where's this Mike?
He died.
Joe and Jimmy meet for the first time when Joe comes to the club to fill in for Mike. Fill in for someone means to take over someone's responsibilities or duties temporarily, usually when they are unavailable or absent. For example, if a colleague is sick or on vacation, you might fill in for them by doing their work for a short period. You can ask, can you do that instead of me? Can you replace me? Can you take my shift? Or you can ask, can you fill in for me?
Man, you couldn't protect a cup of warm piss.
Come on, chicken shit. Bust me in the chops.
Bust me in the chops. Chops is a slang name for jaws or mouth. So jaw means punch me in the face. But there is also an idiom, bust the chops, which means to tease someone, to annoy with nagging or criticism. For example, I wouldn't bust your chops if you ran your errands like you were supposed to. Meaning, I wouldn't criticize or annoy you if you did what you had to do.
You don't think an old guy like me could hurt you, do you, Jimmy?
Oh, so you know who I am?
Turns out, Joe knows very well who Jimmy is.
Banned from the league on gambling charges, allegations of drug abuse.
At this point, it's not surprising. Maybe he did some background check on a girl and found out Jimmy is her boyfriend, or maybe Joe loves football. We'll find it out later.
Private detective.
You like lowlife to me.
At least I didn't shit my town away on coke.
Jimmy is pissed and calls Joe a lowlife. It's a person who exists by criminal activities or has a way of life that most people disapprove of. Joe is waiting for them outside and gets knocked out.
Now let's go back inside and wait for Helen back.
Hey, what am I, chopped liver?
Jimmy is feeling disrespected because Corey, his girlfriend, doesn't trust him to protect her. That's why he says, "What am I, chopped liver?" It's also a slang expression, someone or something that is not at all important or deserving of respect. For example, he didn't even say hello to me. What am I, chopped liver? Corey is trying to get Jimmy his previous job back as a football player. That's his birthday present. She agrees to leave the club without Joe, which was a fatal mistake. She gets killed.
Leather pants.
Yeah,
What's something like that, right?
$6.50.
Jimmy and Joe spend the night at the police station. Their conversation is really hilarious. This is the moment we realize these two are going to make the hell of a team.
$650.
Yeah.
Their pants.
Yeah.
I am very old.
The word run has a great deal of different meanings, even the size or the price. For example, your pants run loose, meaning they are too big. Or what does they run, meaning how much they cost.
The way I figure, Mike was working for her, same as me. He gets scared, bails out, dumps it in my lap.
Now we understand why Mike was killed. Corey, the girl, hasn't been just hassled. She was in serious danger, and so was Mike. That's why he bailed out. Bail out of something means stop being involved in something, stop doing something. This expression is mainly used in the US in this meaning. What are the other words of the same meaning can you use? You can say he left, he quit, he is no longer involved, or you can say he bailed out. Exactly. So after Mike quit, bailed out, he dumped this job in Joe's lap. Lap is an upper part of the leg. Dump means to throw away. Dump something in one's lap is a casual, informal idiom that is very easy to remember. Have you guessed already what it means? To suddenly give someone a responsibility, a problem, often unexpectedly and without their consent, as if placing it directly on their lap. Essentially, to put the burden of something entirely on another person. This expression usually implies that the person receiving the responsibility is not happy about having to deal with it. In the next conversation, you'll hear the words play, which I personally love so much. Can you catch what it is about?
Say, man, you ever play ball? You got a good build.
What are you, a fag?
Jimmy is trying to have a casual conversation with Joe, but Joe is not in the mood for it.
No, I'm just trying to break the ice.
I like ice. Leave it the f alone.
Jimmy says, I'm just trying to break the ice. It's an expression that means to do or say something to relieve tension, to make people feel more relaxed with each other. So by answering, I love the ice, leave it alone, Joe is not talking about the actual ice. He's talking about the meaning of the expression, about the tension. He loves the tension between people and doesn't want to get friendly. An example with this expression. I said something stupid at our first conversation, trying to break the ice.
You probably know how to circumvent.
Circumvent?
It's called the vocabulary. You read much?
Jimmy is trying to persuade Joe to start the investigation and find out why Corey was murdered. Joe wants to check her apartment, but according to Jimmy, there is a security system that he installed himself. That's why he says, unless you know how to circumvent, take me with you. He means unless you know how to avoid something, how to find another way, especially in a clever or illegal way. For example, kids want to circumvent their parents' control. If you keep your investments in shares, you can circumvent taxes. By the way, I came up with this example after watching Trevor Noah's video about how billionaires evade taxes. If you're curious, click on the card link and we continue.
I'm gonna take Corey's car. I got the key.
Get out of the car! That's your trip, man! Yo, what's wrong with you?
Jimmy has no clue what's going on. That's why he asks, what's your trip? What's wrong with you? The expression, what's your trip, doesn't mean journey. It's a slang expression that is used when someone doesn't like someone's behavior or attitude. It means, what's your problem? What's up with you? Joe has saved Jimmy's life. The moment he puts the plastic explosive in his trunk, they get interrupted by two men who want to get the evidence.
Here's a man who knows when a situation is untenable.
Good word.
You like that word?
The situation is untenable. Untenable situation is the one that can no longer be continued. For example, when a person that has serious addiction refuses to get help is an untenable situation. It cannot be continued in its current state. It requires changes. Another example, my job cannot pay my rent. It's an untenable situation. Joe makes them shoot to open the trunk. Obviously, they get killed.
I wish the sky wasn't blue. I wish water wasn't wet. And I wish I didn't still love my wife.
Joe's family drama, unfaithfulness are in the film by reason. The screenwriter Shane Black couldn't overcome a breakup. He was still in love with his ex. He spent 2 years in kind of isolation, striving to get through it. Joe is his projection, who doesn't want a divorce. He still loves his wife. Joe saw Jimmy using drugs in his house and got pissed.
Use that shit to get by.
I don't use it. I get by.
They use an expression get by, which means manage or survive in difficult situation. For example, how can he get by on so little money? We can get by with a little help. In these two examples, you can see I've used prepositions on and with after the phrase get by. Is there any difference? Yes, not in particular big difference, it's a subtle one, but knowing it will definitely increase your proficiency. Get by on something. This phrase suggests you are using something, often something limited or minimal, to manage or survive. It usually refers to resources or things you depend on. For example, she can get by on just a few hours of sleep, meaning she is managing with limited sleep. Get by with something. This means managing or surviving using a specific tool, item, or method. For example, we'll get by with what we have, meaning we'll manage using the resources available to us.
Guess your dad's pretty pissed, huh?
You were only like his biggest hero. When you got busted, you quit watching football.
Now we know why Joe knows Jimmy so well. He is his fan. His daughter says, when you got busted, he stopped watching football. Get busted is an informal expression that means to be caught doing something wrong, especially by the police. This phrase is used nowadays in Gen Z slang. For example, I got busted by the teacher, meaning I was doing something bad and I got caught. Is the following correct? He stopped to watch football. Yes, it's correct. So can you use stop watching and stop to watch interchangeably? No, you cannot, because they do not mean the same thing. Stop doing something means to quit an action completely. For example, he stopped smoking last year, meaning he no longer smokes. He doesn't do that anymore. Stop to do something means to pause one action in order to do the other action. For example, he stopped to talk to her friend, meaning she interrupted what she was doing to have a conversation. Maybe she was walking, so she stopped for what reason? To talk, and after she continued walking. So use stop doing when ending an action and stop to do when pausing for another action. The bad guys kidnapped Joe while the police took Jimmy, believing Joe killed Mike.
Look, I'ma say it again for the cheap seats, Lieutenant.
I don't know where Joe Hallenbeck is.
I will say it for the cheap seats. When you go to the theater, the cheapest seats are usually far away where it's harder to hear what's happening. But the expression doesn't mean to speak louder. It means in a straightforward, easy for understanding manner. So even those who don't have a clue would get it. So how would you use it in the following example? Let's break down this new policy simply and easy so everyone can understand. Let's break down this new policy for the cheap seats so everyone can grasp what it means. There is one more way of using this expression. You can say view from the cheap seats when someone asks your opinion, but you are not fully informed about something. You don't know all the details. For example, this is my view from the cheap seats, but I suggest you do it differently.
Taking off a U.S. senator is pretty ballsy even for an asshole like you.
That's why we're going to frame you for the senator's murder.
Joe is about to get framed. Framing someone means to make it appear as if they are guilty of a crime by providing false evidence or testimony. They want to kill the senator because he wants lots of money, he is very expensive. Joe is the best candidate for being framed because the senator fired him after Joe punched him and knocked out 4 of his teeth. So everyone would believe it's his revenge.
He could be a goddamn cop. Will you frisk him, please?
Meanwhile, they are frisking the guy. The case with money is switched to the case with a bomb, which has to be delivered to the senator. Frisk someone is the same as pat down someone, to search a person for weapons.
Rescue attempt? Blow me.
How will this save their lives and Senator's life as well? I believe you'll have a great time watching or rewatching The Last Boy Scout in English, understand the conversations better now, and remember new vocabulary. Thank you for being with me until the very end. Bye.
Damn it, I'm gonna kill you both.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to stand in line.